Hello again, and welcome to all the curious minds interested in the intersection of new technologies and education. It's Miguel Fernandez from Psycho here with you on the microphone. As you know, in this podcast series, we dive into topics related to the augMENTOR project. Alongside us, we are honored to feature the Cortex 2 project in this episode. Like augMENTOR, Cortex 2 is an innovative project funded by the Horizon Europe Research Program. While augMENTOR mainly focuses on introducing AI in education, Cortex 2 advances emerging technologies for remote collaboration. With that said, we are fortunate to have the coordinators of both projects with us, Alain Pagani and George Garofalakis. Alain is the principal researcher and deputy director of the Augmented Vision Department at the German Research Center for Artificial Intelligence, where he leads the Cortex 2 project, while George is the main coordinator of the augMENTOR initiative. So, Alan and George, welcome to the podcast. How are you both feeling about today's conversation?
Well, I'm quite happy and excited to be able to share information about the project Cortex Square and also to have a talk with you guys.
Nice.
I'm also really excited. I think it's always interesting to talk about AI, education, technology. And I think there are some common grounds with Cortex too, so I'm really excited to talk about everything.
Okay, thank you a lot, guys, for coming. And before we start with the interview and presenting the projects, I would like if you could introduce yourself briefly and like your professional backgrounds a bit. Maybe Alan can start and then George.
Yes, so I'm Alain Pagani. Actually, I'm French. I've been living in Germany for more than 25 years. And I'm a principal researcher and deputy head of department at the FKI. This is the German Research Center for Artificial Intelligence. Actually, I've been interested in augmented reality for many years. I think I started more than 20 years ago. I'm very happy to see that augmented and extended reality are still very incredible research topics and that we have nice projects. My work is actually mainly on computer vision. I have a team of 10 PhD students that are working on different aspects that are more or less related to augmented reality. 3D reconstruction, SLAM, and this type of things.
And my name is George Garofalakis. I'm a senior GIS consultant, which stands for Geographic Information Systems, and a data analyst, and I have a focus on data visualization, geoprocessing, and data management. And I'm generally interested of how AI-driven technologies can enhance decision-making and problem-solving. And that led me to the role of the project coordinator in augMENTOR. And yeah, like in terms of the project, it redefines education by introducing personalized AI-enhanced learning experiences, as we said before. And we're looking at how students learn and how we can optimize the teaching process through technology in general.
Okay, thank you a lot, guys, for your introductions and also to find some time to be here because I can see that you both are really busy people with a lot of projects and a lot of background in informatics and emerging technologies. So I think it will be an interesting conversation. So after this presentation, let's start with a bit overview of both projects. Alan, could you summarize what Cortex 2 is and also the main objectives, as it's one of the first time we have another project with us in the podcast. So feel free to give us a summary about it.
Yeah, well, thanks. So Cortex Square is a Horizon Europe project. It started in 2022. Now we are 2.5 years after the start. And Cortex Square is an acronym that stands for Cooperative Real-Time Experiences with XR. And what we mean with cooperative experiences is that we try to put people together. So it's about having people cooperating with other people But in tele-cooperation, this means that people are not in the same space. They are in different spaces, but still we try to optimize their possible cooperation. How do we do that? Actually, cooperation is already possible today with video conferencing, and this actually has boomed after the COVID time. But we were thinking video conferencing systems are not enough because in many situations you need more than that. And our idea is to fuse video conferencing system with extended reality. So we offer on top of a classical video conferencing system a series of modules, of technologies that makes your experience more valuable. And it's mainly based on extended reality. So it's AR on one side and virtual reality on the other side. So just shortly about the consortium, we are 10 partners from 7 countries, a nice mix of large companies, SMEs, research institutes, and universities. So you can check our website, gortexsquare.eu, to have a list of all the partners. And I think we are quite complementary because, as I said, we developed these modules. So to give you an example, we develop modules that are able to reconstruct in 3D your reality, so your geometry around you. And then you can take this and send it to your partners that are not in the same location. And then these partners can actually visualize your reality and navigate into your reality. This is the module for 3D reconstruction. We are also developing modules for creating avatars and also animate avatars based on any possible picture. We have modules for understanding hand gestures in the video, so you can actually take the gestures and use them in an application. But also we have a partner that is more focused on language. So we have inside the conversation a chatbot that is able to understand what you are saying, that makes summaries of the conversation, that is able to search for information in a database of documents that is related to your conversation, and you can also ask questions. Last but not least, we also have a connection with the world of Internet of Things. So when you are in this experience and you share your reality and your experience, you can also connect to objects, and you can trigger objects to to measure something or to switch on and off a machine or something. And this is also an interesting aspect of the project. And maybe if I still have a couple of minutes, of course we apply this in 3 pilots. So the 3 pilots are first an industrial situation where someone is in a factory and needs help to deal with something not working on a machine. So he can call someone that is far, and he gets augmented reality views helping him how to solve the problem. The second is virtual training, where all the trainees can be distributed around the world, and the trainer is somewhere else, and you can have an interactive session with this person. And the third one is a virtual business meeting, where basically we put everybody around the table, a virtual table, and people can interact with avatars, but also with their videos. And there we have this nice chatbot integration. And one thing that I wanted to add is that this project has something particular, is that we have so-called FSTP, which is financial support for third parties. This means that we have dedicated funding for funding sub-projects, and now we have run 30 sub-projects. That is great because they help us. These are SMEs across Europe that help us developing new modules, but also new use cases. And if we have time, I can speak a little bit more about this later.
Okay, yeah, thank you so much, Alan. I think there are a lot of similarities with augMENTOR in online learning and also chatbots, even when they have different goals. Now, George, even when we already have talked about the augMENTOR project a lot of times in this podcast, maybe we would like to know your vision and opinion as a coordinator. So maybe you can tell us a bit of how do you see the project, or how do you think augMENTOR leverage AI advanced learning experiences, and the advantages of it compared to other methods?
Yeah, so augMENTOR is designed to basically shift the focus from standardized one-size-fits-all education to a more personalized and adaptive learning process. And by leveraging AI and specifically natural language processing and machine learning, we analyze how students engage with content, and we provide educators with insights on their learning processes. One of the most significant advantages of augMENTOR is that it prioritizes learning as a process rather than just measuring outcomes. So traditionally, educational methods often rely on exams and grades to assess understanding, but augMENTOR introduces a more dynamic approach. So we're helping teachers adapt their strategies based on the interactions of the students. And that means that the students receive more targeted support, which also fosters skills like critical thinking and collaboration, which are crucial for the 21st century. And the other key advantage is that our system integrates with existing educational tools. So we make it easier for teachers to implement AI-enhanced learning without changing their entire curriculum. And ultimately, what we aim to do is to create an educational ecosystem where AI assists educators rather than replacing them.
Okay. Yes, thank you very much. It was really nice to know the opinion of the coordinator here in the project and also to know about Cortex 2. So, first, after listening like to both projects, I would like to know like which specific areas or which specific things you think the both projects have in common and how they can complement each other. So maybe Alan can start now and then George can follow.
Yes, thanks. Actually, I think that education is a very, very good use case for our project. Because it's the same thing. I mean, education can be done in a classroom, but it can also be done distributed in different sessions that do not even need to be at the same time. So I think we could cooperate first on a technological aspect, which is that actually the Cortex framework or the platform could be used by the augMENTOR project just to implement a use case where you would have interaction between the teachers and the students. And here we could explore different ways we can use the technology we have developed, and would be very interested to see how you can assess the educational aspect or the added value of different technologies in terms of improved learning speed, for example. And that would be great. But also, I think there is a second point where we could cooperate is that, as I said before, we have actually built a kind of community since we have these 30 projects with SMEs helping us building the framework. We have actually now a real community. These companies have typically several persons working on the Cortex project. So it starts to be a quite growing community, and they have all interest to use, but also to develop tools related to XR for different uses. And I think that letting them know that augMENTOR project exists and what you are doing could also attract attention, and maybe we can also use this community to develop and test new use cases.
Yeah, I agree. And like I see that both projects, they use technology to enhance human interactions, basically, whether in education or professionally. And since Cortex 2 focuses on extended reality for collaboration, I see that this could be adapted for an educational setting. And you can imagine like a scenario where teachers and students, they interact in a 3D environment, for example, and they make abstract concepts more tangible and engaging for the students. And on the other hand, also, augMENTOR has the ability to provide insights into the learning patterns. So it could be a valuable feedback for the XR-based training.
Yeah.
There is also the potential for knowledge sharing, especially understanding like user behavior. So both projects are testing pilot programs, and exchanging insights on user engagement and technology adoption could be mutually beneficial in that. Yeah, and I think it would be great to explore how we can collaborate.
Yes, maybe if I can add something, I think also in education there are specific subtopics where being able to visualize it correctly is very important. It depends, of course, on the educational topic, but I think about physics, for example, doing physics experiment in augmented reality can help understanding, for example, fluid dynamics. And we do have a use case in our FSTP project that tries to do that, to visualize computations that are made on big clusters to understand the dynamics of fluid around an object. But actually, when you can use augmented reality to present the result, then the students they can learn that much faster. And this is what we try to prove in our sub-pilot. But I think this could be an interesting axis of exploration for us to see how, in which subtopics augmented reality can really bring a difference.
Yes, I think, guys, you should make another call, maybe, both of you, because I see a lot of synergies that could be super nice. So yeah, thank you for sharing this. It's good because you have your email. So if later you want to have any doubt, I think you can contact each other, and this is really really nice. So also, I think both of the projects emphasize innovation, and both have a really diverse consortium of partners. I would like to know how is this consortium between academia, industry, and the small to medium enterprises really managed, and how do you foster this collaboration? If it's hard to have such a different background and to all be understood at the same time. Maybe now George can start, and then Alan can follow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So one of the key ways that we foster collaboration is by creating a shared, let's say, ecosystem where educators, researchers, and technology developers are working together. So we actively engage with schools and universities, and we ensure that the AI solution we provide aligns with the real world teaching needs. So that's really important for us. At the same time, we collaborate with SMEs and industry partners to explore how AI-driven learning can support the workforce in terms of training and professional development. Especially today, since the job market is changing really fast, continuous learning is really crucial, and we think that AI can help with upskilling and make it more efficient and also personalized. In order of bridging academia and industry, what we do is we ensure that the technology we develop are not just theoretical, but also practical, and they can have an impact. And we encourage open discussions through workshops and pilot programs. And we invite and allow different stakeholders to contribute to the evolution of our AI system and AI in general in education as a conversation.
Yeah, thanks. Actually, from the Cortex side, I have to say that we first have collaboration between academia and industry within the consortium, because as in many EU projects, we have a mix of different type of partners. For example, I was speaking about this video conferencing tool. So we use actually as a backbone for our system a tool that is developed by a French company called Alcatel-Lucent Enterprise. The tool is called Rainbow, and it covers actually the needs of a classical video conference with video, speech, and chat. And this is the one we are actually extending. But we also have Intracom Telecom from Greece as a big company. And on the other side, we have interdisciplinarity because we assess our pilots on two angles. So we have a psychology expert from University Jaume I from Castellón in Spain. So we have this societal psychology aspect. And we look at ethics and legal issues with the University of Leuven. So this is already interdisciplinary. And of course, we have SMEs that contribute developing certain aspects. L'Inagora from France, we have F6S Australo, and so on. And the institutes, so DFGI, and also CEA from France. So we within the consortium, we also had, of course, to learn to work together. I think we did a good job in that. And now with adding the 30 other partners, these are mainly SMEs, but also research institutes that are joining us. We see also the different needs and different aspects. SMEs are, of course, very often focused on their own let's say a use case, and that's great because they bring new requirements. But in order to foster this community, what we try to do is also to let's say let the world know in different aspects, and we try to participate to many conferences or events. So we have been twice on the Stereopsia. We are going to Immersive Week because now my feeling is that there is now really a growing community around XR, and also because the tools XR in combination with AI are now actually really good and useful, and there is a high interest. So by the way, I also wanted to announce that we will organize a final event in September conjointly with Euro XR 2025, and it will be in Winterthur in Switzerland. We will put information about this on our website, but this would be also a very nice occasion because Euro XR is actually a scientific conference on XR. And so there will be a lot of interest from the research point of view. And we come with Cortex Square, with all of our partners and SMEs, and this will be a very nice gathering for exchanging ideas. So if augMENTOR wants to join us in this final event, you are, of course, invited to join us.
Okay, really nice. Thank you for your insights and the invitation. Okay, now we've talked about how to deal with collaboration. I would like to know, because both projects have pilot programs in order to test the solutions that they are developing. Have you found any unexpected um, data or situations from the pilot programs that have led you to refine or rethink certain aspects of the projects?
Yes, maybe I will start. Yes, I mean, I think there are no projects where you have no surprises. So of course there are things that change over time. But in our case, this is mainly because, and I guess it's the same in augMENTOR, is that the field of AI is progressing at super high speed. So if you start a project with a first idea, probably after 6 months, there is new state of the art. For example, 3D reconstruction. So we have this idea of providing a 3D reconstruction pipeline so people can actually scan their environment. And during the course of the project, new things came out to do it based on novel technologies, Gaussian splatting. And so we have adapted, and now we are providing a tool that uses this technology and to provide better reconstructions. And this is just one technical example, but I think that these projects always have to be adaptive to check in order to make sure that we are using the latest advancements in research and offer the best possible outcome.
Yeah, so from our side, I think the most interesting finding in the pilot programs was how much the context of learning affects engagement. So initially, we focused heavily on AI and how it can personalize learning based on the individual students. But we figured out and we found out through the pilots that external factors like classroom dynamics, the teacher engagement, and like cultural differences, everything, they play a massive role in how students respond to AI-driven learning. So this led us to refine the approach even further. And instead of optimizing AI for individual learners, we're now developing features that can help educators better understand group dynamics and adapt their teaching strategies accordingly with their behaviors. And that also reinforced our belief that technology should not replace teachers, but empower them with deeper insights. Another challenge has been the fight, let's say, to ensure that AI-driven feedback is always transparent and interpretable. So, especially for educators, they just don't want just AI recommendations. They need to understand why the AI is suggesting teaching adjustments. And that also led us to create the AI and develop it in a way that it's more explainable. And we try to make it even more user-friendly and trustworthy, especially from the educator's point of view, so they can see why they're getting the suggestions they're getting.
Okay, thank you so much. Yeah.
George, I would like to ask you one question because that's pretty interesting. Using AI to help teachers, I think this is great. But did you face also the other way around, that teachers fear that AI could completely change the way that they are currently teaching, because the students would just go to ChatGPT or you name it and ask for the answer? And how do you actually fight against this?
Yeah, that's a big challenge actually, and there are many countries or individual schools and teachers that are really skeptical about such solutions, and that's why we had to make sure that the interaction is really important and that you create the context that really has input from the real world, and you're not just doing it through a platform. And we really had to explain to teachers how it's working. And obviously, a big challenge actually is that different schools and universities, they're using different systems and different curriculums. And, like some are more advanced, some are like less. And that was another challenge for us, that we had to really adapt to everyone's system and make it as easily accessible in a way. And also through our pilot programs, we really had to focus on the workshops and how we present the tool to the teachers to make them see that it could be potentially interesting for them. And also in terms of AI with students and how they could use it. We are trying to take it step by step and not give the solution to the student through AI, this is the answer, but to create a tool that develops their own thinking in steps, they get a bit of feedback, then they have to adjust, another bit of feedback, etc. But that's a really important point, actually.
Yes, great.
Okay. Yeah, thank you, Alan, for the question. And yes, guys, the interview is getting to an end. We've talked about collaboration, we've talked about the challenges faced. Now, I would like if you could summarize the key message of your project in just one sentence. So maybe first, Alan, and then George.
Yes, actually in Cortex Square, we really try to bring people together. So it's about cooperation. It's not about only technology, and we try to put the technology at the service of people. So in order to improve the cooperation and to make it easier for people to work together. And I hope that we achieve this, but this is the main thing. We want to bring technology to people.
Nice.
Yeah, and augMENTOR is about empowering educators and students with AI-driven insights. And our aim is to make learning more personalized, engaging, and effective, I would say, these three elements.
Okay, perfect, guys. I think you could be talking like for hours, but we have to finish the episode. Maybe next episodes we will be chatting more. Thank you so much for sharing your insights. It's clear that both Cortex 2 and augMENTOR are driving exciting advancements in education and remote collaboration, and it's inspiring to hear about this. For our listeners, if you're interested in learning more or connecting with either of the projects, be sure to check out the links in the description. And of course, thank you for your tuning into today's episode. Stay curious, stay engaged, and we'll see you next time. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.